Welcome to another Life-Inspired Lecture Series. We are so excited to be here today, and joining us is Joe Glines. He's our technical support, Dr. Gena, as you all know, and new to our team, Camilla Saban. She's an elder care expert, and she's located in Florida. Later on in the session, we will be joined by Russell Popp, and he's one of our programmers, and he's going to go over some things regarding our life automation system. Today, we're going to talk about the productivity of this new life automation system. We're so excited about how this system is going to quadruple the amount of runs that you can make on your clients. It's going to make you available to a larger number of clients. And my favorite thing about it is it enables me to take care of my family and my close friends. And myself. It seems like I'm always left out, my family's left out, and my close friends are left out when I have a super busy week scheduled. So that is no more. With a life automation system, it has enabled me to work my elderly parents every night and the rest of my family. So it's increased my productive side significantly, and I can see the results in my parents' health, and I'm loving that. We're going to go over today how to schedule the automation, how to delete the automation, how to monitor the automation. We have a reporting system that is just a great tool that you can access easily from the main menu. Russell's going to go over that with you. We're also going to cover today scripts of how to explain Metaspace to your clients. These will be available for download on our website. We feel like it's really important to be able to explain to clients how Metaspace works from any level of education. We're going to discuss quantum entanglement and how it relates with bioresonance. We're going to talk about the scientific evidence, empirical evidence. Later on, we're going to be discussing pricing of the life automation system, and we're also going to discuss the animal programs and protocols which are in development right now. We're going to ask for your input on the animal programs, just like a few of you have given input on the life automation system that we're about to release. Now, the life automation system that we're about to release does not have all of the input changes in it, but we are reviewing those, and in the next 3 months, we will send out a new release to update your programs for everyone that's purchased the system. And it will include a lot of these suggestions. We greatly appreciate all the input on these protocols that we've received, and we hope that we have a larger scale turnout on the suggestions on the animal programs, because we want to meet everyone's needs out there, because we are all a life team. We're all on the same team trying to help as many people as we can and make changes in their lives. You know, we want to enable them to self-heal, and that's our job. So now we want to talk about Metaspace. It seems to be a mystery for many people what Metaspace is actually about, how it functions, how to explain it to our clients. We often have clients that just can't wrap their head around it, and I often tell them it's really hard for me to wrap my head around also. So it's not something that's really easy, but it's not any different than the other invisible things in life that we believe in. Some of those are love. We believe in love, but we can't see it physically. We can feel it even at a distance. Another good example that I like is gravity. So the gravitational pull works on every one of us, every item, every living being, every man-made material, all respond to the gravitational pull of the earth, and it's invisible, but we believe in it. And Metaspace is similar in ways, but as time progresses, people start understanding more, and there becomes more and more studies and research on this. I mean, this all started in the late 1960s and 70s, as far as even talking about quantum technology. And through the years, many experiments have been performed, and we're going to talk about the different medical research centers or just regular research centers that have done these studies. And we're going to give you links to that later on so that you can actually access these and read them. But we're going to talk a lot about quantum entanglement because biofeedback uses quantum entanglement to reach the client, no matter the distance. And that's what quantum entanglement is all about. Research shows, and this is scientific research, and some of the latest was there's research from 2022 and 2024 that it's proven before that, but they have even prove it on a larger distance scale and on the fact that it doesn't matter the distance for quantum entanglement to work. And that is where two particles are drawn together no matter the distance. And when you measure one of those, the energy level of one of those, you know what the other one's going to be because they have combined in quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement is involved with our bioresonance. So we're going to use bioresonance to reach our clients either through the DNA or the picture. And the system is going to use quantum entanglement to, when you choose Metaspace, to go out and find that client's energy. What makes us different where it does this is our genetics, just like our DNA, each little DNA step has actually billions of steps that create us. And then, of course, atoms, and each atom even has its own vibration. And then you develop into the body, and it makes us totally different from anybody else. We have our own unique thumbprint, our own unique bioresonance. No one looks identical to us. It makes us different because we're made up of a group of frequencies that make us unique. It gives us our own antenna and creates a vibration that no one else has. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Gena now, and she's going to talk to you about the way the life system measures stressors in the human body and explain the process of Metaspace.
So we went over the stresses in our body. Now the question is how to balance these stresses in our body. We utilize the life system and the information that is in there to balance these stresses that are in our body. And the life system does this via quantum entanglement. So quantum entanglement, you have like a negative and a positive, and they draw toward each other. So it encodes with each other with the negative and the positive, and they become so entwined that the properties of one can be measured, and properties of the second one exhibit the properties of the first one. So we use this to feed the balanced frequency through the life system to get it to our subject.
So let's talk about the scientific side of this, explaining to people exactly the way it works. Oxford gives the analogy of the ability of a computer in the past to read one book at a time in a whole library. It may do it fairly fast according to how fast the computer is, but with quantum entanglement, and quantum technology, it could read all of the books at once. So that's the way it compares the speed, and the speed of the life system is similar. So the life system has the capability of traveling 130,200,000 miles per second. And by doing that, it can connect to any individual's bioresonance. Like I said, this has been scientifically studied about the quantum entanglement. The bioresonance is what has not. But for right now, let's talk about the different facilities that have proven the quantum entanglement, and you're going to have links for these. And that's Berkeley, UC. They actually first discovered August of 2022 they did continued test from the original test of 1972 in their same facility that measured quantum entanglement with 10 feet apart. Well, they continued on with one Clauser and one of the students and proved that it didn't matter what the distance was. The quantum entanglement worked, and those two atoms took on the same genetic features. So there is your scientific evidence. The bioresonance is what only has empirical evidence. And the bioresonance, again, is your own unique energy pattern. And the ability of the life system to travel over time and connect through the quantum entanglement method. To read the library of your brain and the reactivity testing 6,981 stressors to start with, and the other 39 panels to continue on with testing. So we know once it tests for the 6,981 stresses using quantum entanglement, and that works where it takes the like frequency magnetized to the other frequency that is like, it detects whether that frequency is healthy or unhealthy, and it sends feedback to the life system, remember, at over 130 million miles per hour. So it's not the speed of light, but it's right under the speed of light. And then the life system decides what frequencies will enable that person to self-heal from the stresses that are indicated. So it's just going to enable that person's library of their brain to have the complete library that it needs to self-heal. So the life system uses complex software and a wave generator, utilizing the technology of quantum entanglement to test and supply the human body with what it needs to self-heal. It corrects the vibrations and it stimulates the body's self-healing properties. Now, the wonderful thing about the life system, we've discussed this in the past, is it can detect stress in a 0 to 40% stage before it's even detected as far as the person in their body. Symptoms develop at the 40 to 60% stage. So stress may be there for even years. They've proven this scientifically, that it can be there for years before it's detected. The life system will show stresses in the 0 to 40% stage and send frequencies as a preventative healing to put a person in a healing state prior to the disease ever fully developing, which will take over the body functions and start causing pain and other results of sickness. The life biofeedback system is great in prevention. It's also great to address chronic issues as we see in the elderly. And I want to turn this over to Cam and let her talk about some of her elderly clients and how the life automation system has made it easier on her when working with them, turning around chronic situations, and also as preventative measures.
Hello. I'd like to talk to you about the Life Automation Program and how it's helped the elderly. In the program that we have set up now, we're able to address issues like the heart, which we have a heart support program. We have immune support. We have a lymphatic drainage program. We have different programs for Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. We can address kidney and bladder. We can even help people with cancer and people who are struggling from brain trauma. It's been a great tool, and we are super excited about the new automation program, and we hope that we can help you in the future.
Thank you, Cam. You know, as you see, I hope each and every one of you will at least download the 10-day trial of this life automation program and try it out for yourself. We'll have a link where you can go to our website and download the 10-day trial and see how it fits into your practice. Also, at the end of this video, we're going to provide you with a order form so that you can see the pricing and the options that you have with the Life Automation Panel. We appreciate you listening today. We're going to go on to our next section, and we'll be back shortly. So now I'm going to turn it over to Russell Popp. He's one of our programmers, and he is going to walk you through system requirements, the utilization of the automation panel, and how to report issues.
Okay. Well, one thing, of course, if you're running Windows 10 or 11 on the Life system, you're already got a computer that's good enough to run the automation panel. You've already met the minimum speed requirements and memory, so we really don't have to worry about that. If we've got any issues with the software, then to help that, what we'll need is what version of the software that we're running. And that is easily found by typing the help button and then about. One of the first things we do is say what our version number is. And we will want to know basically what was going on and what was happening at the time. You've got a under file, you can see your reports. These reports are on a daily basis. So they will show everything that you've run on one day, a very short summary unless there's a problem. So we'll typically say when we started, who we're running it on, when it ended, and how long it took. If there's an error message during our run, it will show up in this log. If we need a lot more information, then we can go over that later. We can email you a file that you would include in the same directory as autopanel.exe, and that will create a diagnostic file that you can email to us that has a lot more information. So when you're trying to just run one single protocol, the one thing we can't do is from the Life Automation panel, I do not know your customer numbers. So you'll want to write them down ahead of time, just the ones that are active. I've got one here, customer number 130. Then you have to select what you want to run. So if I want to run pain, and if you want to run it right now, you just click run. Then Life System will start and the protocol will be off and running. If you want to schedule it, and you can see here that I have run 12, they're already in the past and they're scheduled. To schedule in the future, we have our time and date panel right down here at the bottom. You can edit the month, the day. Well, you can edit the year, especially if it's in December. Our hour and our minute, AM and PM. So if I was going to run one soon, let's say I would do it at 4. I just type in 04, change the 51 to 2 zeros. It's in the PM. If I hit schedule, it'll show up. We've already got a message here. We have a schedule made. I click OK, and we now have 13 schedules. Now, the task scheduler is a Windows operating system feature. It will eventually clear off these old scheduled protocols. If you want to get rid of it right now, all you have to do is select what you want to remove, and click on delete. That schedule will be deleted. This is actually a message from our task scheduler. And now I'm down to 12. If I want to get rid of them all, or any group of them, your standard Windows selection for the Windows Explorer works right here. So first or last, or I can hold down the control key and select one. If I click on delete, those that I've selected, they will be deleted. And that's pretty simple right there. Let's see.
So just to make this clear, like if you're doing multiple groups, you highlight the first one, hold the shift key down and highlight the last one, and it will create a blue color or whatever your screen color is on that group. It will highlight them, and then you hit delete, and you have a message that tells you that it's deleting those. You can't go back at that point. You have to delete them, so you need to be sure that you choose what you want to delete. What happens, Russell, if you program two at the same time?
If you've got two programmed at the same time, or if they overlap, or if you've had something come up and you're doing a protocol run on your own, or really anything with the life system, when a scheduled system will start. Because our basic assumption here is to let this process run unattended, normally overnight, we'll assume that the new schedule is the protocol you want to run. So the life system will be restarted, and your currently running protocol will end. It'll stop too soon and it will not finish, and we will start the scheduled protocol.
Okay, so that's if you schedule them too close together.
Then the one that you've scheduled first will not be finished.
Right.
And in our report, we will actually have a line saying that we have restarted the system, and that will stop the current run. And of course, if you're running life manually, we don't know about it. We will know that it's been restarted, so we've kicked somebody out, but on our report, we won't know who.
Okay, and so we suggest that you run them an hour and a half apart. Not all of them are that long. I think the longest one is 85 minutes, but it's very important because of different computer speeds that you do not schedule them more than an hour and a half apart. Now, I was talking earlier, I have made the mistake of entering one and putting in, say, 4 p.m. And then I was interrupted when I was entering the next one, and I hit schedule and it still said 4 p.m. I failed to put in. What it does is it erases the first 4 p.m. and you're stuck with the second one. So that is a problem if you have your paying clients in there and you thought you've scheduled someone and they don't run. So you need to make sure that you change that 4 p.m. to 5:30, or it will just write over the previous one. Now, another issue that I've noticed is, like, if you pull up your life automation system, it's got the current time at the bottom. But let's say that someone called you from another office, you got up and walked out, and you came back in 5 minutes. Your life automation is still going to say 4 o'clock, but your system's going to say 4:05. So always set your timer according to the computer clock and not the task scheduler clock, because that will cause issues. And if you'll notice on this life automation panel, I mean, we've included ADD, ADHD, autism, allergy support, biofield protection, bladder, kidney, body balance, antiparasitic, brain trauma, cancer, depression, anxiety, digestive, endocrine diabetic support, eye support, heart support, immune system, lymphatic drainage, Lyme's encephalitis post-COVID, pain, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, prostate urinary, sciatic hip, sinus, sleep support, and sports recovery. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of really great feedback, and I'm saving all of that feedback because we're going to incorporate as much of that as we can in the next release in the next 3 months. But for right now, the programs are the way they are, and they are information that was, they were put together by our a team of practitioners in, putting in the frequencies that they felt best fit for each of these protocols. But we do want to include everyone as a team. If there's something specific that you'd like to see in it, we're going to review it and we're going to do our best. Now, I will be honest with you, the one that's already 85 minutes, most likely, and I believe that's the protocol, we're not going to be able to do anything with that because we're staying in that hour and a half time frame for protocols. And as we discussed earlier, when we do the animal protocols, we want as much feedback as possible also because we want to include everybody as a team. Russell has done a really great job. Russell, pull up that reporting feature one more time and click on the second one. Just want to talk about.
Let's try this one.
Yeah, okay. I love this. That one actually is one that he was testing. Pull up one that yeah. So the one he highlighted, if you'll notice, it says 10:40 Friday, July 19th. And it was a protocol sports recovery, and it shows the client number right out beside that. And it also shows that it's a male. I think Russell ran that on himself. And so I love the fact that you can see on the next 2 lines, it completed in 39 minutes. Now that will vary according to computers, but your ideal report is going to have, let's just say you scheduled 12 in the night, it's going to have all 12 of those, and it's going to have 4 lines for each one of those. So you're going to have 48 lines in a perfect reporting system. Now, the only thing is at midnight, it's going to be a new report. So it may start, if you came in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you started scheduling, it's going to be, it's going to have your 8 in the morning, or if you scheduled the previous night, let's just say it's on a Monday night, so it'll have everything from midnight to midnight, and then when it goes to the next day, it's a new report. So remember, you may have 2 reports for one night scheduling. That's really important that you know that you may have to look at 2 of them to confirm that they run. Now, if you run into a situation where this top one, will you highlight that top one, Russell, before you made some changes?
We were still
Yes.
working on the code.
That's what
yeah. This is what I was saying. If we have a problem in the program, you will have something to call us. And of course, this is a text file. You can email it to us. I don't know any system that will stop us from sending a regular text file over email.
Okay. And it's really important when you email this to send it to hello@biofeedbackwc.com, hello@biofeedbackwc.com, because our team we all get those emails, and that way one of us can get back with you as quickly as possible. So that is what an error looks like. If you'll look on that, it said, what time the error occurred, and that it said invalid button type. So Russell already addressed this problem, but I'm glad that he brought this up so that you could see an example of what you would need to report. Okay, you can close that, Russell.
Okay. Now, also, by the way, I'm still looking at these. I've noticed we've got the same information message, whether we're at the very end of a program and we're exiting the life program, or if we started new and we're reloading it. I've just changed that today, so we'll see a few changes in the reports, and of course, customer input. If enough people want to change to it, we'll make that change also. I'm sure Stephanie's also covered that.
Yes.
Just by the way, for those that aren't geeky, can you leave that up, Russell? So
Whoops.
you see the you see the date modified column, which you showed the date, but the file format, the file name, if people don't understand, that's the year, month, day, right? So if you're looking for a certain log, that's how you know it's 2024-07-21. That's July 21st. And that's why you can look over in the date modified column. Oh, that is that. But if it's not so obvious to a lot of people of the structure of that name.
Right, and if you click on date modified, it'll go from least to greatest or greatest to least. So that's the way, if your logs are what you think is upside down, just click on date modified in the middle and it'll bring the latest ones to the top.
And also, if you're like me, when I double click, the program opens up in Notepad. And if I see something that I need to change, and I save this, that is when our hours will be different. Because now the modified is at 4 o'clock when we initially started this thing.
And that's a good point, because sometimes when people open files, they accidentally hit keys or, and it may ask them if they want to save it. And if they say yes, it will change that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind, click on the help button.
Okay, this one or the big
Either
one?
one of them. I mean,
Okay.
I know
Well,
they're
this
different.
particular help button is
So the help button actually walks you through the steps, the one on the right, but also we're going to have a link on our website that is a little bit more detailed than this. So if you do not find the help that you need here, we would appreciate it if you would go to our website and read through that before you send in a request for help. We're here for you. You can email us at any time, but we would appreciate if it's just the functionality, if you would go use this help button and go to the website before you send us a message requesting help.
okay. And also on this particular screen, right there is biofeedbackwc.com/life automation.
And that's exactly where you would go for more detail. Okay. And then what's under settings, Russell?
Well, under settings,
Mhm.
primarily if you change the password on your life system, you're going to have to tell us about it. So that's where we can modify the password. It won't even ask you what the old password was because, well, this is your system. So if you make a much longer password or just a different one, same length, you can type it in, say okay, and that password will be changed.
So for security reasons, if you want to change your password from the default when you receive the system, it's a #1. You have that option in settings. Okay. When do they run initial setup? When would they use that?
That's pretty much the same functionality that you'll get when you first get the system.
Okay.
And it's not going to be much different. You'll get our welcome screen. You'll get, of course, by the time this is under release, the beta software message will be gone, and you will need to set your password.
Okay.
So essentially, both of these systems reset your password. When we use to reset your password, we're assuming that other information is already on the system.
Mhm.
If we rerun, it will recreate any other missing information.
What about the other help button?
The other help button, well, basically, I was working with About,
Yes.
and
So
that
it shows you
gives
just the
like,
website. Okay.
yeah,
So the right-hand help button is going to give you instructions with the website below it. The left-hand help button is going to give you the website for you to go for more detailed information.
and of
Also,
course,
as he's already shown you in the help button, the about, let's do that about one more time.
yeah, that gives our version.
There's your version, the current version that you have. That will be very, very important, okay? And then let's go to file one more time. So you can run one directly from here. There's really no reason that you should use either one of these, run or schedule, but you can use it from here. And what does the reload do, Russell?
The reload should stop the life system that's running right now in the background,
Mm-hmm.
because anything we're starting in the automation panel, whether we run or schedule, when that hits, if the life system is already running, we're going to restart it.
Okay.
And again, it's automatic. These are basically just shortcuts that happen automatically in, well, other parts of the program,
Okay.
right?
And Russell, would you mind programming yourself in, and let's just say choose allergy and start it 1 minute from now so that they can see the way it launches properly?
Okay, see, right now it's 422.
Mhm.
So I would put in 423 and schedule it.
Okay. And you can leave it up on the live automation panel, or you can hit the exit over to the right. It will not make a difference in the way it starts up, but you can do either or. But what I've run into is when I'm scheduling multiple ones, I'll give myself about 10 minutes, say I might put 4:30, and then I'm trying to get 12 in. And if I get interrupted, I may get that 10th one in there and say, okay, and it will just start up. And if that happens, just remember, any time between them, you're going to have anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes that you can add to the schedule at the bottom. So it will not hurt for you to go in and add. If you have 12 running during a period of time, you can go in and add in between any of them, and it's just going to add it to the bottom of the screen. You could even, if it was your 12 o'clock when it ended up at 1 o'clock, there we go. You can even delete one that hasn't ran yet and replace it with something else. So that's what it looks like. If you'll notice, it shows the language. Now that's another thing that I want to discuss real quick. So, it's choosing your client by number, calibrating. It's going to go through, just leave that running for a moment, Russell. We're going to talk about French and Spanish. So with the French and Spanish, let's just say that your life machine is in Spanish. What this will do is you can have your automation in Spanish, but when it goes in, because of the different in sizes of the words in French and Spanish, it's going to transfer over and run it in English. But when it exits, it's going to go back to either French or Spanish. And I'll have also I want Russell to show you how to properly stop this without causing any issues with your life system. And then Russell, I'd like you to give them a Spanish version to show them how it switches from Spanish to English, and then we can stop it. They just know that it's going to switch their system back. So when you get to a place, go ahead and hit F8 and stop and show them how to properly shut down the automation system, properly shut down the life system without causing any database problems. And let's change it to Spanish and just do an example, if you don't mind.
And Stephanie, can I just point out one thing that people may not have realized? Everything they just saw there wasn't Russell or anybody doing that. Like, that was the automation,
Yeah.
right? Because it looks like a human's doing it, right? And when you're watching this the first time, you're like, so he clicked that really fast. No, that was the program.
And just leave it up there a little bit longer, Russell, on this, because I do, oh, never
Well,
mind. It's
Too
okay.
late, I've already hit it. We can
We'll
do it
show you
again.
on the next one. But the live panel on the right, we're going to show you how it moves down and we'll leave it on the Spanish example. So go ahead and exit out of there, and let's change it to Spanish and change our automation panel to Spanish and show them how to do that.
Okay, now everyone will probably already know that your standard exit is from the navigation screen. And if we exit here, we will be asked to back up the database. Now, when you back up your system, you're basically backing up your client database. So you absolutely want to do it whenever you add new clients or delete old ones. Otherwise, it's pretty much your choice anyway.
Yeah.
But if you do it too much, that little SIM card on the side of the computer will fill up. It may take a while. Actually, it may take years.
Right. Well, and if you notice on our automation, it does not back up. Now, it is not you're not losing data because your reactivity saves by itself. And then when you add a new person, you're doing that manually. And when you exit out, you always want to save. So you're not losing data, but doing the volume that you're going to be doing with the automation, you don't want it to save every time because mine did fill up. Now, my computer is 6 years old that it filled up on, but it caused me problems. So I had to go in and compress those files and save them somewhere else and start over. But that is the reason that we hit no on backup. You do not need it on an existing client. Okay, Russell, do you want to change it to Spanish and show them?
Okay, we'll load up auto panel.
Okay, well, we need to change it to Spanish on the live system first.
Okay,
Yes, okay. So we can change it to Spanish and then exit out. So let's do this, okay? So he's going to go to language. Yeah. Spanish. And then you should be able to exit out now, and it should be in Spanish. Okay? You notice that it all changed to Spanish. Okay, now he's going to go in the life automation system and change it to Spanish. And he's going to do that in settings. And if you look, settings has a language button. So as he clicks that language button, he's going to choose English, French, or Spanish. So let's choose Spanish. Okay. And now our live automation is in Spanish. Now, let me point out, because he already had some scheduled, they are not in Spanish over in the, once you go ahead and delete those up there, Russell, and let's schedule one.
okay.
wait, no, delete those up off of your, yeah,
Okay,
delete
it
them.
really does not matter which order I do this in,
Yeah, okay.
except I have to remember where the delete button
It's
was.
up above, I think, the one above that. There we go. Okay.
Actually, I hit the run button instead of
Yeah,
delete.
you did. It's okay.
All
It's
right.
okay. Okay, so you notice that the systems in Spanish, he actually scheduled sinus to run, and it changed it back to English. It was really, really quick. So I don't know if you saw it, but it will run Russell on sinus, even though the automation panel is in Spanish. It's running the life system in English until it completes. And once it completes, and you'll see when he exits out of here, it will go back to Spanish. So if the Spanish or the French person runs automation, it will change back and forth. But when they open their life system to do an individual by, hand, then it will change back to their language. So there's no worries, but it will change to English during the automation process. Okay, and we're going to let this run through calibration and geopathic stressor, just so you can see. If you'll look over to the right, so initialization has acumeridians, reactivity, and I'm not sure what the next one is, respiratory.
Some of them is actually the same in all three languages
Yes.
because it's an abbreviation.
Right. So, as you'll notice, it's in English, even though it has the Spanish over to the right.
Now, did you comment on why we keep this in English?
Because
Some
of
of the
the size
database
of the
entries.
words and the different button positions and,
Yeah, well, some of the internal databases are extremely large and they have even been sorted different ways in the different languages.
yes. And that is the main reason that we did this, is there are several differences in the languages, but to keep everything on the same and not have to write a whole new program for each language because of the links in the wording and, different features, it's just easier to do this. And if you're running automation, you're not going to be you're not going to be monitoring as it closes, but your reactivity numbers are the same no matter what language you have. So your rectification, once you see it's rectified at 83% or whatever, that's going to be the same no matter what language you're in, the percent rectified. Okay. And if you'll notice, it put a check by initialization, and now it's testing the acumeridians. It toggles over to the systems because that's what it does. It tests the systems first. It always opens with the acumeridians and it closes with the chakras. Okay. And you can, after this test, Russell, you can stop and show them how to exit out again and show them how it will change back to Spanish.
I was also going to say, though, as a programmer, this will be far more reliable. It's just a better approach to keep it in the English language, at least because of the way the system was built.
Yes. And Russell's going to show us how to exit out properly again.
Okay, now one thing when we want to exit early, we can either hit the F8 function key or we can actually click on it if we're fast enough and the mouse isn't being controlled. Essentially, that goes on when the percent completed is showing its little status bar changing. I've got a little bit of time that I could move, but the function key is going to work anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to stop the reactivity rectifying, but it is going to, your sidebar is going to disappear and it will close the automation program first. And then you're in a position to exit the life system properly.
Right, and from here I can do it when the navigation button is visible. Because when it's grayed out, you can click all.
Okay, now, Russell, if you exit out, are you gonna have to change it back to Spanish manually? If you exit out like this, because it is set up where it automatically changes out in the complete program. So if you exit out manually for any reason, are you gonna have to change the language back manually with the language button?
Have never done that.
Yes, I believe you're gonna have to do it manually because it's not running the complete program. So the complete program is gonna do this for you. And then you exit out, and when you go back in, it'll be in Spanish. But it's just a matter of when you come to that password screen, choosing language and, choosing your language back. But the life automation program on each of them will do it for you in the complete section when it's completing all the protocol. It'll run the chakras, and then it'll go through the proper exit, and it will switch back to Spanish. Okay.
And you guys recommend not trying to let the program run on its own, right? Don't use your computer for other things while it's running.
No, and also, again, remember, you do not need the internet for the life system to function and work properly in Metaspace. So I suggest that you have the internet connection turned off because of Windows updates. Also, you want to make sure that you do not have any other automation running on yours. I know Windows has some automation on its own, but you do not want to add other programs that will interfere, because you will have interference at times that will not necessarily cause issues, but it will cause you to have to run maybe client number 5 out of 10. You may have to run client number 5 again because you were on the internet and Windows decided to do an update and it trumped everything. It just closed out everything. So I would turn the internet off or turn my updates off and require it to ask. Now, if you need any help on turning the updates off, I believe that we have instructions on the website, but we'll check and make sure that we have instructions for that. But remember, other things can interfere at times, but the automation runs well when there's no interference. Okay?
If I might interject here, I've got a Lenovo that has a very helpful program that runs once a week, and it takes over the system in the middle of the night, runs system checks, shows all sorts of screens as it's doing it. And our little automation program is trying to click on the life button, but it's in the background, so it doesn't work. The side effect of that might be that you say, every Tuesday, what I've got running at 2 a.m. doesn't finish.
Yes. So, if you have any questions over this part of the webinar, please feel free to send them to hello@biofeedbackwc.com. We'll be glad to answer any questions, or you can contact your broker if you would like to go through them with a question, and they will get with us. But we are here for you any way that we can make this transition to the automation system easier for you. And again, you're going to enjoy the freedom that it gives you. I love the fact that at home, I can run an automation program on one of my family members and go and do the laundry. It's really nice that you can double task when you're outside of the office. And even inside the office, it's become really handy if someone comes in and needs to talk to me. and I need to run a program on a horse, say that's about to run on the rodeo circuit or about to compete in a big event, I can run the sports program on them and still go take care of my client that dropped by the office because they had something that needed to be addressed. Okay, next we're going to talk about the animal protocols that we're developing and how they're going to be presented. Thank you. Hello, everybody. We're back to the animal protocols. I know there are several of you that are very excited about what this has to offer, and we just kind of want to go through the ideals in our mind, the actual program that we're already developing, and how it may help you. And Dr. Gena is going to talk a little bit about why we chose these different areas regarding animals. She has 33 years of practice, and she's basing the protocols on her experience. We also want to remind you as you listen to this and hear the different protocols that we do want your input, because I'm sure there are some of you out there that will have run into issues are not on our list. So we would like your input so that we can look at the possibilities of adding these. We actually have come up with 20 protocols that Dr. Gena is currently working on writing, and she has several of them completed what we feel should be on there. And like I said, we want your input because we want a team effort on this. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gena and let her talk to you a moment about her experience in her veterinarian clinic and the different things that she has encountered. In addition to what she's going to share with you, I have added a few things because of my experience in the rodeo realm and competition. I added a few things that were important to me also regarding the equine. And so I'm going to turn it over to her just a moment.
Well, I'm really excited about the animal automation protocol, and we've chosen these things from what I see commonly in my practice. This is going to really help anyone who does a lot of animals. And what I'm going to do in my practice, I'm going to go ahead and do my baseline test and see where I'm at. And then I hope to incorporate these automated protocols in areas that I need. And that way, it's going to give me a lot more free time. And it's going to make me be able to give each one of these animals a little bit more attention than what they need by running a protocol on them every day. So I have some dogs now with chronic tracheitis, and it's because they got a collapsed trachea. So I'm really excited to be using the tracheitis and the collapsed trachea protocol on these animals. When we get it automated, we're going to be able to do this every day. It just, I can schedule it, run them every night. We've chosen some of the most common things that I see, like we have a lot of digestive problems in animals. So we have a canine and a feline diarrhea, and that's going to address trash gut also. And then we have canine and feline constipation. This is one of my favorites that I like to use on my patients. And then we're going to have we're going to address the eyes and the ears, arthritis, and kind of anxious to use these on those dogs with the older dogs that have arthritis and hip dysplasia. And that's another thing where it's going to be great just to have these animals on a schedule where we can do them on a continual, constant basis and schedule it every day. And we have a few specific cancers that we're going to address, like feline leukemia, which we see that a lot in our feline population. So we're going to address that specifically. Canine mammary cancer, another specific one, and equine melanoma. We kind of took those apart and took them out of the general cancers, and we're going to try to address those specifically. This is for your performance horses. We've added the respiratory with the equine bleeder in there, and that's another one that's going to be really great for performance horses. And they can run this when they're at shows and prior to shows, condition these animals so that hopefully we can get them balanced and they won't have these issues. And then dermal support, skin issues, we see that a lot. And so this is going to be really good to help balance that skin pH and give them a better barrier there for protection in that skin. And then we're going to do the canine and feline vector-borne diseases, those are tick-borne diseases. And then we're going to do just kind of like a general external parasite. You know, this will cover your lice and mange mites and fleas. I'm going to try to give them some balanced frequency to keep those bugs off of them. Another thing I see really frequently is feline stomatitis. So we're going to make a protocol specifically addressed to feline stomatitis, help those poor cats with those sore mouths. We've got some equine leg health in here. We're going to kind of touch on the acupoints on those legs and see if we can give those legs a little bit of relief and comfort and strength. The big one, we're going to incorporate some breeding programs in here and see if we can make productivity a little bit better there. And we're doing an equine digestive, and it's going to have a supplement balance in there. Again, trying to help that equine gut stay balanced. You know, we all know that the microflora in the gut is kind of a key element to health all over the body. And the last one we have on our list is the thyroid, which we have to, we're going to go into endocrine health there and address the thyroid issues in small animals and equine. And so we feel like we've got a good start here with different protocols. And like Stephanie had said, mentioned earlier, we're really receptive to anybody that would like to contact us and give us some input, but because we want to hear what you have to say too, and where you would like for us to try to go with this to help you in your particular situation. So I just want to introduce that to you, and I'm kind of really excited and enjoy sharing this with everyone, and thank you.
Now, I just want to say regarding this, so you already have some programs in your hand if you've purchased the original automation program. So, you know, you have heart support, which you can use for animals. You know, you have Lyme's encephalitis that you can use for animals. So there are several on the human side that can cross over. So you already have some tools. The difference between them and the animal program is the animal program are going to have some of the animal frequencies included, and they're going to target animals specifically. Now, I'm not going to say that you wouldn't be able to use some of the animal programs on the humans, because the frequencies are all healing frequencies, or frequencies to enable whether it's the animal or the human to heal. So keeping that in mind, and keeping in mind that the body will only receive what it needs, and it will only receive it to a balanced state, not all of the animal ones will cross over to the human, but several of the human ones will cross over to the animal. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Now, you know, there is a list of these that Dr. Gena went over on the screen. And I just want to say, just like, you know, we've been developing these for quite some time as far as the protocols go, because we've experienced animals with collapsed trachea, and we've had success using the programs that we've developed for that. We have a lot of allergy and skin issues that we've addressed on equine, canine, feline. You know, so there's a lot of the areas here that we have been utilizing the Life machine on. In fact, we've probably utilized the Life machine on every one of the areas that are listed there, but some more than others. But we love the Life machine where animals are concerned, because animals are so receptive. And yes, they do seem to be a little bit more receptive than humans. I don't quite understand that, but I do know that anytime I work with my animals with frequency, they seem so much happier and more at peace. So we're really excited about adding this animal section to this. And what this is going to look like on your screen is, if you have the automation panel, you will have an additional button that says animals. And once you click on this animal button, the 22 panels that are on the human side will go away, and you will be supplied with 20 to 22 animal protocols that will replace them. And you will have a toggle switch where you can switch back and forth from human to animal if you want both of these. If you are just interested in the animal protocols, then yours will only have the animal protocol on there. If you are interested in just part of the animal protocol and you have all of the human protocols in the original life automation, then when you click on the animal, it will only have the buttons that you've chose to purchase individually available to you. So there's going to be a lot of options on all budgets. You know, we have tried to set this up where any practitioner can afford to purchase some or all of the life automation protocols. So it's going to be very flexible when you look at it, the way to purchase. Now, we're going to place the pricing sheet up on the screen so that you can take a look at it. And if you choose to purchase 5 protocols on the original life automation, you can choose those five protocols, and it is a value of $1,750 is the cost. Now, if you choose 10, it's $3,000. And I want to share with you, you know, through the rest of July and August, there is a special. If you buy a single unit, you get to choose 5 automation buttons, which is included. So that's like a $1,750 discount. And if you choose to buy a double unit, you get to choose 10 buttons, which is a $3,000 discount. Now, if you decided that you wanted the whole thing, then you would get $1,750 toward the $5,000 cost of all the buttons, and you would get $3,000 towards the cost of all the buttons if you buy a double machine. So there are benefits to buy if you are in the market for another life machine. Now's the time to buy it, because you will receive life automation as a bonus for that. And like I said, you will get credit if you want to go ahead and purchase the full life automation panel of 22. Now, as far as the animal panel, they will be set up in the same way where you can purchase 5, 10, 15, or 20. And we plan on having some sort of discount for people that have already bought the human version of the life automation, and we'll be working on that. And we look to have the animal automation completed towards the end of this year, first of next year. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas that might help us on the animal protocols, please email us at hello@biofeedbackwc.com, and we'll be glad to respond to every message that we get, and we will review them and just kind of see how they fit into the program that we already started developing. We appreciate you participating in this webinar today, and we will see you next time. Bye.